Okay, we're golden.
Okay, spit on my gum. Okay, so welcome to the Start Canada call this week, guys, for December the 11th, 2016. If you're new to the call or listening into the recording, we are just a group of individuals with a common vision to ignite all young people to own their lives physically and financially, and through our contribution, create freedom and a lasting legacy. Who gets so excited every time they hear that? Like, it's so powerful. So if you don't know me, maybe I'm a new face. My name is Morgan. I'm from Ontario. I live about an hour outside of Toronto, a little town called Port Perry, Ontario. And I just want to thank all you guys for being here on your Sunday evening, tuning in live or listening to the recording. It just shows your dedication to yourself, your team, and your business and your success. So I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. The purpose of these calls and kind of what they are is just to ignite all Canadian Start peeps. These calls have been initiated by our amazing Start committee, where we have representatives from every province and territory, so we can all really get together and grow this movement. So it's a really exciting time to be here. And the purpose of this call is just to grow together and provide tools, support, and coaching, inspiration to get your belief a 10 out of 10 in all areas, so you feel completely unstoppable in sharing this amazing gift. And we put this call together to really help you guys grow. So it's not having these special trainers on. We want each and every one of you to step up, get out of your comfort zone, share on a call, maybe get involved in the committee. So this is an opportunity for each of you guys to grow. So if you're interested in speaking on a call in 2017 or getting involved in the committee, just reach out to Tina or I or anyone else that you guys know that are on the committee. So as we move into the call here, I do have to do a little bit of a disclaimer. You may hear some income claims tonight. Please note that these might not be normal. I personally love that I get to work in an industry where the amount of effort I put in is linked to what I get out. And you may also hear some physical stories about our wonderful nutrition products. Please know that we don't diagnose, prevent, treat, cure any diseases or illnesses. We just put really awesome nutrition in our body and we get to reap the benefits. So I invite you guys to also use the chat, show your support, ask your questions. We have 3 really phenomenal speakers this week, and we are going to jump right into our first segment, which is the Starter in the Spotlight. And this is just a platform for you guys to learn different stories. We know that in this industry, we are just storytellers, so it's important that we have our ears open and listen, because we may tuck this away to share with someone else later. They might share something really powerful. I'm really excited for who is speaking this week. Her name is Alex. She's from Peterborough. I sat with her last night. She was really nervous, but really excited to have this opportunity to go out of her comfort zone and share her story with you guys. So Alex, I'm going to let you tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
All right, here I go. So my name is Alexander Kaczmarek. I'm a paramedic student at Fleming College in Peterborough. That's my first time speaking, so bear with me. Right, so I was first introduced to this amazing company when I was babysitting a family. They were using these products as meal replacements, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then I was exposed to it a second time when I was in a waiting room. There was a lookbook on the table, and I decided to take a look at it, and I was sold right away. I got enrolled right after that, and it was perfect timing because it was a couple of weeks before I was going to Alberta. And the reason why I was going to Alberta was because I wanted to live life on my own before I was starting school. I was 18 at the time. This was last summer, and I wanted to see how it'd feel. So I got my products when I was there, and I felt results right away. I had so much more energy. I was working 2 jobs and having the extra energy to do 1 extra activity a day made a really big difference. And because of being introduced to this company, I have been introduced to such amazing people like me, or such amazing people like you guys. You guys are great. You guys have inspired me to do so much. Even just like simple stuff as like going to the gym or living a healthy lifestyle. It's great, and it just shows that it doesn't matter how old you are to be successful. You can be successful at any age. And because of this company, I have been able to create a residual income, which has helped me achieve my goals a lot achieve my dreams a lot faster. And some of my dreams and goals include going to Australia and completing the Ironman. And the idea of graduating debt-free is mind-blowing. Wouldn't you guys agree? Yeah. And you don't hear very many students graduating from school debt-free. And basically, guys, don't give up on yourselves. Great things come with time. I'm excited for all of us, and can't wait to see you guys all at Raw. And thank you for listening to my story.
Thanks, Alex. That was so good. So good. Good job. So we're going to move into what we call the PG portion of the call now, which I'm really excited to hear from this speaker. You just got back from Costa Rica, right? You just flew home. Like, she's so cool. I like following her on social media. She made this one video and it was just totally real and authentic. And the first time I watched it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just like her. You were talking about how you left corporate and you were traveling, and in your bio, you're, going to Fiji to save sharks, and New Zealand and Australia. And I'll let you tell your own story, but this girl is just so cool. And she's going to share some tips about being your authentic self and kind of living into your purpose. So I'm really excited. Take it away, Amy.
Hi guys. Well, thanks for the lovely introduction. Yeah, I just got back from Costa Rica last Monday night, so it hasn't been quite a week, which is why I'm bundled up. I don't think I've adjusted to the cold here yet. It's just freezing. I'm like, I want to go back. It's so much warmer. But yeah, a little bit about myself. Actually, Morgan and I live relatively close to each other. I live like 40 minutes from Peterborough, so in a small town called Lindsay. And I actually grew up here. This is where my parents have lived for most of their life. And, I went to school and, got a degree and had been working for about 6 years, as Morgan was kind of referencing. And then last year, not all of a sudden, I think it had been kind of brewing for a little while, but I decided that something was off. I was in a job that I was working like crazy hours, like 80 hours a week as a wedding planner. And it was a great job. And I actually really did enjoy it, but I don't know if any of you have ever felt this before. And I think that in some ways it takes practice to kind of listen to your intuition, where you're like, something is off. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it means, but I feel like something's out of alignment. So I kind of just waited and I kind of sat on it for a while. And I think I've gotten better, because it's like anything in life. It takes practice, right? I think the more you kind of trust yourself and listen to yourself, the faster that process kind of becomes of jumping from knowing that something's off to figuring out what you do about it, or kind of what the next step is. So long story short, I actually decided to leave my job and give up my apartment. And that's when I was in Fiji and New Zealand and Australia. I was gone for about 4 or 5 months. Just this year, it'll be a year coming up soon. And I was there from January to April. Didn't know what I was going to do. When I got back, just kind of took this like massive leap of faith and was like, I'll figure it out when I get home. Of course, I have great parents. They were very supportive, but I think a lot of friends thought that I was crazy, right? You're leaving a great job. It pays well. Like, what are you doing? And, there's really nothing wrong. It wasn't like I had a bad boss. Like, I love her. She's like family. So it was really hard sometimes to explain those kinds of things to people. And I thought, I don't know, this just isn't for me right now. I need to do something different. I don't want to be necessarily living in the same small town, or if I do, I want it to be a choice, not because I have to live here because of a job. So I left and I came back, and when I left, I had never heard of Isagenix. I had no idea what it was. And when I'd actually connected with Stacy a little bit, who's going to speak later, while I was away. And so it was just like the most perfect timing when I came back, because I was looking for something that was going to allow me more free. Like, it was all of the things that I was looking for, but didn't know like what, that was going to look like in my life. I wanted to have more freedom. I wanted to be able to travel. I didn't want to be stuck in a geographical location. I wanted to be doing something that I loved. That, like all of those pieces kind of all came together with this, which was amazing. And it just kind of goes to show that, like, when you do trust yourself and, believe in yourself, that things will fall into place. Doesn't mean that it's easy. That was not an easy process by any means. That was very difficult, but, I've had that. You just need to be true to yourself, and things will eventually work out with some, hills and valleys. And it was great being in Costa Rica this last month. I've obviously done a lot of traveling again since this year. That was my plan from the beginning. I wanted to be able to kind of come and go, and Isagenix has allowed me to be able to do that. I loved Mondays, because even though I was in Costa Rica, I could like get up and, have an income coming in, which was fantastic. But it is a lot of work. I will say, I know a lot of people I'm kind of getting to the upper end of the start group, but I know a lot of people, and even people, my age, younger, older, travel is huge. One thing that I've learned from long-term travel is that it can be still really hard to find the balance between traveling and working. So my plan when I was away was that I was going to be working, because I was gone for a month while I was in Costa Rica, even though we're not open there, but still like hopping on calls and trying to get work done. And it's still hard. It's still like life here. Things get in the way. It's just that some of the things are like surfing and trips to Nicaragua for the weekend. And like, so, it's fun, and you definitely can't complain, but it is still sort of figuring out a bit of there's balance is always going to be a challenge, right? Because I think people are often very used to taking a vacation for travel where you just go and you peace out and you check out for like a week and then you come back and you go back to work. So it is difficult even for me sometimes to get in that mindset of like, you're away and you're traveling, but you still need to like get shit done, you know, like while you're away. But it's possible, and that's all that you just have to be aware of it, right? And it's like healthy mind and body. If you know about it, then you can kind of like work on it and just, you know, make that shift and everything as well. It was funny when I was surfing, there's a lot of like analogies that I was thinking of that are kind of like cheesy, but it's once Isagenix is like in you, it's the first thing you think of in like your business, right? There was one day, one of the first days that I went out, and it had been a while, and I was like really nervous and was actually thinking about maybe like not going, because I was like, I don't know if these waves are too big. It's been a while. I haven't been surfing for a few months. Like I'm really nervous. And you immediately start to think of like all of the reasons why you can't do something, right? And I just started thinking about like when I started this business and how similar that kind of process goes through your mind, right? It's like even talking, like you think about talking to somebody and then you get nervous and then you think about all of the reasons why maybe you shouldn't be doing this or it's not going to work. And then you just get to a point where it's like, no, like the benefit and how much, once I get out there and once I get like 2 waves, yes, I'm going to fall a couple of times. I'm not going to drown. Like it's going to be okay. There's people there that can help me if something bad goes wrong, but like, you know, it's going to be worth it. Like sitting out in that water, there's going to be memories that I'm never going to forget, you know? And actually Wes, who was talking, I think like a couple months ago on this call, he had just, I don't know if any of you saw his post, he had seen a shark when he was surfing in Australia. And I was talking to him about that and how like some people just never even get in the water for fear of sharks, right? It's like, but you're missing out on so many opportunities. And I feel like there's just so many analogies with that, with this particular business. And that's why I love it, right? You just kind of have to go through some of those processes and everything. But in terms of personal development and growth for me, for getting my business kind of in order and helping with sort of, you know, day-to-day tasks and keeping on track. And like I said, when you're, especially if you're going to be traveling and being able to like, you know, start your day off right, a really big book that someone had recommended to me, which I recommend if everybody hasn't read already, was called, have you read Miracle Mornings for Network Marketers? Have you ever heard of that before? I love it because I sort of not floundered, but I think in the beginning when it's a business that's new, I was like, I don't know how to set up my day. I don't know how to structure my time. What should I be doing? And it's really easy, like I said, whether you're traveling or whether you're at home, especially with the time flexibility sometimes, to just say, no, I'm going to sleep for a little bit longer. Or, no, I'm going to do this instead. And for me, the like, even, you know, you can set up your miracle morning. It can be 5 minutes, it can be an hour, but it just like gets your mindset and you get organized and you're so much more efficient for the day and you can get all of those tasks done. And it's available online. I think it's only like $12. You can't buy a paper copy, unfortunately. You can only get it online, but I definitely recommend that for anybody that is doing this business. I found that that had like a huge, I might actually even reread it because I feel like I've kind of been sliding. And so I want to get like back on top of that and doing that again.
Awesome. Did you just like find it on Audible?
I think I honestly just Googled it, or I think I bought it. My mom has an iPad, so I like stole her iPad and just like downloaded it somewhere on through her books. But I just Googled it and it came up. It's by, I wrote the name down. It's by Hal Elrod, I think is his name. And it's called there's a bunch of Miracle Morning books, but this one is specifically like, is Miracle Morning for network marketers.
Wicked. Okay, I'm going to take a look at that. That sounds awesome. Thanks so much, Amy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask you one final question. If you had like one takeaway for people on the call that like look at your life and they say like, oh my gosh, I just want to be here. What's your one takeaway for people that really want to build this business, but maybe there's some fear there?
I think, like I said, just to trust yourself a little bit more, and that you can do it even if you don't feel like you have all of the tools in place, right? That just to believe in yourself. And as soon as you believe in yourself, then I think you'll notice a really big difference in, you know, the way your business grows. Because if you believe in yourself, then other people kind of latch onto that too, right? And then they feel like they can borrow your belief for a little while as well. So I think that just having that confidence and knowing that it's okay that you might not know what you're doing all the time, and that is like normal, and that everybody feels like that, whether it's, you know, quitting your job and you're like, this could be the worst decision I've ever made in my life, but I'm going to take the chance because it could also be the best decision I've ever made. And that sometimes you don't know until after you've just like committed to doing something 100%.
Wicked. I love it. Thank you so much, Amy. That was so insightful. Cool. Okay. A round of applause for her, guys, because that was so wonderful and inspirational.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, so we're going to jump right into the training piece now. So this lady is just so wonderful. Her and her hubby are also from Peterborough. It's like a Peterborough reppin' night tonight. And their family is just so perfect. Like when I see them in real life or on Facebook, they're just an image of active, healthy, vibrant, happy living. She was a varsity athlete in basketball and track at Queen's University, and she was a nationally ranked hurdler, which I thought was really cool. She used to be a high school teacher and a coach for 15 years, and then she left that 2.5 years ago to pursue her passion in fitness and wellness. She's a business mentor and a coach who specializes in fitness and balanced living. She's a corporate wellness trainer. She's a CanFit Pro certified fitness instructor, and she teaches some crazy classes. I have a few people that take her classes, Stacy, and they say like, oh my gosh, yeah, I know her. She's really good at Good Life here in Peterborough. So she started in ISA in 2011. She's a team Isagenix athlete. If you don't know what that is, we're going to chat about it a little bit later. And I'm really, really excited to introduce Stacy more to you guys to do today's training piece.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that amazing introduction. And
look at that bod.
Hi to all those starters. I thought I'd share this because it's actually a kind of crazy visual, although I look at it and I'm like, but you know what? We all have to go through a transformation and a journey. So just to share a little bit about my story and where I've come from, like Morgan just said, I started this in 2011 and it was with a ton of resistance and skepticism. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that with regards to athletes and their mindset tonight on the call. But this was me on the far left in my orange shirt. And I was a fitness instructor working out 5-6 days a week, doing the same amount of working out that I am today. And really, if you can see in that picture, I was totally puffy and inflamed. And my kids like to now tell me that. They're like, yeah, Mom, you were super inflamed. So kind of crazy. But that's where I was. And I thought at that point that I knew everything there was to know about nutrition and fitness. And I had this background in exercise physiology and nutrition and 3 degrees and blah, blah, blah. And I thought I knew it all. And we're going to talk about that tonight with regards to athletes and professionals in fitness as well, because quite often we do think we know everything and we don't want to listen to other people. I'm so glad I did listen to one of my best friends, Shannon Fisher, after she had talked to me for many years. And I said no to her for about 3 years. And if you know who Shannon Fisher is, she was the youngest millionaire in Canada and extremely successful with this. But I was like, it's great that you do what you do. I'm a teacher with a pension and security, and I'm not a salesperson, and I have no interest. Plus, I don't want your powdered, you know what, in a can, was basically how I put it to her. And she's one of my best friends, and I was really pretty mean. What it came down to as far as really taking a look at the product was I stepped on the biometric impedance scale with my friend at the gym, and I realized that I wasn't where I wanted to be, and my body wasn't getting the results that I wanted out of all the work that I was putting in. And so as a result of finally deciding to say, hey, maybe I should take a look at this, because my body fat percentage was higher than a friend of mine, even though you can't compare 2 people, I decided to put it in my body. And that was just about 5.5 years ago. And I haven't looked back. My energy went through the roof. I felt fantastic. The crazy thing is on this journey, as far as the transformation that you see, was I only ever lost about 10 pounds. And in fact, I put that back on and I'm the same weight today pretty much that I was when I started 5 years ago. However, I went from a size 8 to about a size 0.2 with no change in my activity level. It was just getting the nutrition in my body, serving and fueling my body with superfood nutrition, and then pairing it with the workouts that I was already doing. So the picture in the orange is, I did an IsaBody, and I'm going to talk about IsaBody, like get in IsaBody. Make sure you're doing it, because I didn't start it in the beginning. I don't know why, but I was like, yeah, I don't really need that. I don't know what my perspective was. But I didn't start it until a good probably 1.5 years in. And that's when I finally did my first one. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to win this, because I'm competitive, and I was like to go in and like, I'm going to win. And so I went hardcore and really like upped my shakes, upped my cleansing. So that's all I really changed, was I just tweaked how I used the product. And then, I went on a journey, the one where I'm lifting the tiny weight in my hand. I went gluten-free and I went dairy-free and really kind of put things to the test, and was pretty hardcore in that one. So that was a little bit more, fine tuning. And then from there, this is just kind of where I'm at now, just as far as maintaining, feeling great, and having the energy to rock my fitness classes and do the things that I love. So it really can be a journey. And when you're talking to athletes, I think it's extremely important to realize that they're people, right? And Morgan, I know you have some questions for me, and just feel free to interject as we go along. But I think the first thing to consider when you're talking to athletes, you don't have to feel like, well, if I'm not an athlete, how am I going to possibly talk to the fitness professional or the athlete in general? Because it's not about that. It's really, they're a person. And I was a fitness professional with all of this experience, but clearly, I was falling asleep on the couch at 8 p.m. I was working my full-time job as a teacher at a really busy private school. I coached. I worked my butt off. I never saw my kids. And all I did was, run from this gym to this workout to this field to teach, or this track meet, and then teaching all day. And I was fried. And I really thought I was juggling all of the balls that I could possibly juggle. And I was doing such a great job at everything, but I wasn't. And so they're people first, and everybody has some want or need that they're looking for, whether they're a fitness professional or just a busy professional or whatever it is. Approach them on the solution that you can provide, and find out what it is in their life that they're looking for, because that's what's going to help them. Whether it's they're already using shakes or they're already using something, there's always going to be a piece there that you can kind of gravitate towards to help them out. The other thing that I really focus on with regards to speaking to athletes is, I had a bit of an epiphany when I was at the gym the other day. I actually was looking around, and I'm pretty good. I, wear my Isagenix gear. I always have my Isagenix shaker cup. I think, product placement in public, whether you're in the gym, you're a fitness professional, or you're just working out, or you're, shopping and you're carrying a water bottle, whatever it is, carry that stuff with you and have extras in your bag to give out to people as samples and say, hey, try this out if you get in a conversation and it's going to fit in. But I always wear it. I'm always, I'm proud of Isagenix. And I've always said that if I could bring people, even just pack them in my suitcase to come to an event and see what happens at celebration, even if they never came to the event, they just got up at 6 a.m. and they walked along the boardwalk in San Diego, or they went to the gym in Vegas. It's crazy. People are working out, they're trying to be fit, and they're super proud. It's like this wave of green. And I've never been affiliated with anything else like that. And even if I taught at a school, it wasn't like I wore my stuff with pride. It's like, I'm proud of this, and it's a really, really big deal. And I don't think everybody gets that. So be proud of that. And then I looked around and I'm like, okay, I see this person with that shaker cup working out. I see these trainers, wearing their whatever it is. It's usually affiliated with a retail store. I'm not going to say names. But I looked there and I went, wow, these people trade their time for money. And this is what we as fitness professionals do, right? We trade our time for money, and many people do. And we have to put the time in. And if you're a trainer, you're not getting paid unless you're in the gym. And most trainers are in the gym a lot. They're training a lot of people, and they have to work a lot of hours. And if you're a gym owner, you're in that gym all the time, right? And so they need another source of income. And we always look for other sources of residual income. And I looked around and saw all these different shaker cups and everything. And I almost laughed inside, because it was just kind of an epiphany moment for me. But I was like, I've left my full-time teaching career, and believe me, it took me a lot of hard work to get there. It's totally work. But if you're focused and you want to go for this, you have a team behind you. Those people that are in the gym carrying their shaker cups and everything around, they don't have an army behind them. They have a retail store where it's a point of sale. They go in, they buy their shakes, necessarily no coaching. They might get it from the trainer, but we have so many different people with different personalities and skills and things that we can leverage as a group. And we have the ability to help people to pay it forward, to show those trainers how to make residual income, to get results, because that's what this is focused on. And they're like training these people and they can't make multiple six figures, an extra $1,000 a month, whatever, by buying that shake from that retail store. They can't, but we can. And I was kind of like, these people are like, they'll brag about it and they'll put, Isagenix down, and there can be a lot of negativity in the fitness world. But if you stand strong and you believe and you're that force of positivity, you're going to see that they're eventually going to want to know what you're doing. And I of somebody that I have in my team who's a personal trainer. Her name's Ange. She trains people all over the world, and she's personally enrolled to me. But you know what? It took me 3 years to talk to her. 3 years. So if you're talking to fitness professionals and they give you like the shoot down and they're like, no, don't be like, okay, tail between my legs and I'm going to walk away and I'm never going to talk to them again because they're a fitness professional. 3 years I would talk to her, and she tells the story now that she finally was like, oh my gosh, I would see Stacy come like skipping into the gym. And I don't think I actually like skipped along, but she'd skip into the gym and be like, hi. And she was always positive. And she was like, oh my God, I just want to tell her to shut up. But the funny thing was, she was like, how is she always energetic and happy? And what is she doing? She's doing something. And she's a single mom who is training all the time and making meal plans for her clients and putting all kinds of time and energy into designing these programs for people. And she's not going to pay for that. And I was like, Ange, listen to me. Like, you need to take a look at this as a vehicle for helping people, because people are coming to you for results. They want results. And if you are going to give them results, then they need that 80% piece. And so often trainers find that they'll design programs, they'll design plans. And what happens is they'll get into the groove and they'll meal prep and they'll do the work. But over time, it gets too hard. People fall off when you need to meal prep and do all of that work in order to get the results. We have a simple, easy solution. So talk in terms of simplicity. Talk in terms of convenience. Talk in terms of the fact that they're already using shakes, pre-workout, post-workout. They're already buying energy drinks that are not healthy for them. They're buying stuff, and they're buying it from here and here and here, and they're piecemealing it for their clients or themselves with no means of generating residual income and no means of having a support behind them, or also getting the results for their clients that they really want, because their clients are paying them a ton of money to come to them every week. And I go to the gym all the time, and I see people that are paying for personal training and their bodies don't change. They're in there week in, week out, week in, week out, working so hard. But that 80% piece is missing. They're missing 80%, which is nutrition. And they're not doing anything to deal with toxicity and inflammation, just like I was in that orange shirt picture. I was puffy. I wasn't dealing with all of the oxidative stress that I was putting my body through as an athlete and training so hard. And as soon as I started to cleanse, as soon as I started to feed my body superfood nutrition, the whole world changed as far as the lean muscle, the ability to work out harder, more now than I ever did. I recover better. So when you talk in that lingo with people and tell them about the results that you've had, especially even with trainers, you're going to notice that they're going to go, okay, tell me about the results. The other thing that I've really started to notice as well is that it comes down sometimes to trust, right? If people know, like, and trust you, then they want to do business with you. And I kind of had another epiphany moment as I was at the gym on Friday. And I lift a lot of weight in like a pump class. And sometimes the instructors and people are like, oh my gosh, somebody's going to need to help Stacy down with her weights. And I'm not saying that to brag, but it's interesting. A lot of people will come up to me and they're like, holy crap, you lift a lot of weights. And I'm like, you want to know how? It's this. It's nutrition. If you want to be able to lift weights and you want to be able to like do it repeatedly throughout the week, you need the nutrition piece. And I have something in my water bottle that I'm having the power. I'm having an e-shot. I'm having Nox 2 hours prior. I'm using, even recover and hydrate during my workout. I'm having a shake half an hour post-workout. I'm using fruits and greens and the Ionics post-workout for more alkalinity. So when you show them that there's a systemized approach to actually getting results in the gym, then they're like, okay. And the epiphany that I had was now there's other girls, which I think is really cool, that are now inspired to lift heavier. And I'm like, hey, maybe I've inspired them. Who knows? But they're lifting heavier. And I think that's really cool to see other chicks out there lifting heavy weights. But I went to one of the girls and I said, hey, I see how hard you're working. You're working your butt off and you're lifting heavy. And I think that's awesome. Give me a month. Give me a month. Do you trust me? Because if you trust me, we've been talking about this for a while, just give me a month. You have no risk. It's got a 30-day money-back guarantee. I know you're already buying shakes. I know you're already buying that stuff. Optimal results. You want to be able to lift that and feel amazing. Give me a chance. And she said, okay, I'll sit down with you this week. And I started sending that out to people that I've been talking to as well. Just trust me. Put in your body. If it doesn't work after a month, send it back, get your money back. Do a bench, 1 rep max, like a bench press, whatever it is, go for a run, get a benchmark, try this for a month, basically risk free. And if you don't get results, send it back, no skin off your back, nothing's gone wrong, but give it a try because I've seen far too many things go the right way with results that I know that you will see success with this. Just trust me. So it's kind of, some thoughts, some food for thought.
I love that. I love that so much that you chimed in on creating the relationship, because we've chatted on these calls before and people had some fear about, even approaching someone in the gym that maybe has a shaker cup, just not knowing how to start up that conversation. But it's a big deal to approach like a fitness professional. Maybe you have a friend in bodybuilding or, someone who's a trainer. And the idea of that 3-year story that you had is so spot on. Like that first no should not shy you away. You need to create the relationship so they know, like, and trust you. I love that so much, Stacy. Mm-hmm. We did have a few questions. When I said that you were on Team Isagenix, some people had some questions just like, what is that? Because I think it's a wonderful tool that people don't often really know. And maybe you have a friend that would fit really well in the company, but you don't know how to explain it to them. So I would love if you can kind of just say how you got in it, what it is, how you kind of get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you see my screen that I shared here as well? Okay.
Yep.
So if you go to teamisagenix.com, this is a wonderful resource. And before I was on Team Isagenix, I've now been on it for a year. And prior to, I was using this all the time. So anytime I was talking with an athlete, you want to use the tools. Remember, you are a traffic director. You do not need to know everything about this product and when to use it and what's in it. And I made that mistake in the beginning. I was the product expert because that was my background. All these different, backgrounds in, like I said, nutrition and exercise physiology, blah, blah, blah. And so I would sit there and spit out, ashwagandha and burdock root and blah, 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 and all these things and what it was going to do for your body. Use the tools, because I was not duplicatable and you want to be duplicatable in this business. And so I had to learn that kind of the hard way. This website, you can either go to teamisagenix.com or, of course, on your own website. You can find information there. But the videos, how the athletes talk about things, use the athletes that are using this product. So we don't pay, sponsor, or endorse any of our athletes to use our system of products. And I think that speaks volumes about the quality and really no compromise that we have in our products and the integrity there. We have a lot of amazing athletes. Think about Nat Cook, who's a 5-time Olympian, a gold medalist in beach volleyball. She used all of her skill set as an athlete and transported it over to building a business with this, because it's very similar as far as the skills and the perseverance that you need. So Team Isagenix basically is a group of elite professional athletes, people that are in the fitness world, fitness business, and it basically is a community or another subculture, kind of maybe in some ways like the Stark movement. And we have a community where we can lean on each other. We can ask questions. There's a Facebook group that I'm a part of that's private, and, JJ Burden and, David Jokes, like all kinds of people will post in there, and we can kind of pick their brains, get questions, post different things that we want to know more about. We'll come together as a group if there's events going on. So it's really cool that way. But like I said, we don't pay, sponsor, endorse any of our athletes. So I think a lot of times, people in the fitness world are looking for sponsorships. And what I love to say with regards to that is a sponsorship is only going to last for the time and duration that you're competing, the time and duration that you're that professional. What happens when that's done? With Team Isagenix and being a part of Isagenix and building a residual income, you can self-sponsor. You can be your own sponsor, and you can build that team that's going to last you far longer, perhaps, than your professional career as an athlete. So that's a really key point, I think, as well, if you're talking to those people who are looking for sponsorships. How do you get on Team Isagenix? So at the bottom of this page is actually a qualifications link. So if you're talking to somebody or someone who's really big in the fitness world, you want to really kind of get them involved, get them to take a look at what's going on, bring them to some events the same way you would any other prospect that you're speaking with, but know that there is an opportunity for an elite professional athlete, for example, or someone that's a personal trainer or owns a gym. There's different qualifications that you might have to meet. So we have bodybuilders and fitness competitors as one category, extreme athletes is another, endurance athletes, personal trainers and coaches, which is what I fit under, and then professional athletes. And my brother, for example, is a golf professional. He's under, professional athletes as that golfer. So if someone that is, on a scholarship to the States, or they're doing something professional in their field, show them this opportunity as well. What you need to do then is you need to just look at this as far as qualifications, because you don't want to set somebody up and go, hey, you're going to be part of Team Isagenix and it's going to be great. They have to meet qualifications, and then it also goes under review as they apply. There's an application that you fill out. And so first of all, you have to meet the green qualification in your area first, and then the white chart, you have to meet 2 additional requirements in that chart in order to be a part of the team. All right. And so sometimes it'll have to do with business building activities as far as your status, your level in your organization. The 5,000 social media, they're looking for a following. If someone's a professional, they may have to have achieved a pro card in their sport or those types of things, or they may have to have a certain finish. If they're doing endurance races, they have to be in the top, placing in the top percentage or something like that. So you really need to know the guidelines and stipulations. But once you're in, I mentioned the Facebook group. There's also, you get a virtual gift bag. So you get product coupons, you get free tickets to either an ICU or a UIA so that you can learn how to build your business. You get a digital welcome system with some key kind of business building things and ideas, how to build and use social media, those types of things for athletes. They also, of course, we get some free gear as far as being able to wear Team Isagenix stuff. And then they have training calls for athletes to show them how to build their business. And we also have the opportunity, if you're training for a competition, you can get some free products. So like I said, we don't pay or sponsor, but if you're training for something, then they'll give you, potentially if you meet the qualifications, you can get some product which will help you improve your performance. And then you have to kind of maintain certain standings over the course of the time that you're a part of Team Isagenix. Submit photos and submit surveys and stuff like that in order to stay in good standing throughout the time that you're on there. And then we also can apply for business building support. So if I was having a big event and there was going to be a certain number of people at that event, I could apply for some product that I could give away, samples or those types of things that I could have at that event as a part of Team Isagenix. So there's some pretty great perks that come along with it. It's really helped me, because I said I was totally showing that as a tool. Now I can say, hey, I'm actually a part of this as an elite professional, trainer and fitness instructor with this. And so I know many of these people, and I can also then reach out and ask for help and ask people to do calls with me. But don't feel that just because you're not on Team Isagenix that you can't do that either. remember we're all on one team, and reach out to people, go to events, sit in the seats, connect with people, connect on Facebook, get people's information, ask for three-way call support. If you're sitting beside someone in the audience, whether they're on Team Isagenix or not, and they're whatever field or speciality they have, use that and say, hey, could I use you as a three-way call potential someday if I need it? And, I've done lots of calls for different people. Steve Bentley has done tons of calls for me, right? Like, it's really a matter of just kind of building that community and making sure that the word about Isagenix gets out to the masses so that everybody has the opportunity to grab onto this and really kind of soar and fly with it.
That was so helpful. Thank you so much, Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know there was a site to look at the qualifications, so that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're wrapping up here. I would love to ask you a few last questions. You said that you started this journey when you were, doing your coaching, you were a busy mom. Like, there's so many people in the start group that are also young moms. I would love to know kind of what your day looks like now and what your day looked like when you were first building and working full time and crazy life.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like I said, I really thought I was juggling all the balls and doing everything super right. And I was really neglecting a lot of areas of my life, including, I saw my kids less than an hour a day and I paid for someone else to raise them. And when my daughter was 6, she wrote me a letter that said, when are you going to be my mom again? And that was extremely heartbreaking for me. And that was prior to me really digging into this. I dabbled a lot in the beginning. And at the beginning, I was like, I'm a cheap teacher. Show me how to eat this for free. And fine, I'll do that. But I'm not building a business. And I said that repeatedly to Shannon, like, don't even talk to me about the business. So when I first started, I really, just was like, okay, I'll share with a few friends. I went to an event and really got my eyes opened up about what this was all about. And PK Smith was the one that actually lit me up. He looked at me and he said, why is this only good enough for you? And I went, what do you mean? He's like, don't you think you're being selfish? You're a teacher and a coach and you love to do all these things. So do that for other people and inspire them and teach them. And so I started, and I really just kind of built it into the pockets of my time and said, hey, I can share this. And so I just started talking to more people. I would not fall asleep on the couch at 8:00 anymore because I had energy. And so rather than sitting on the couch and watching TV or doing marking, I would work to get my work done at the end of the day and try not to bring it home so that I could focus on connecting with people on Facebook, social media, doing calls for at least a couple hours at night. And then put my kids to bed, and then I would work, say from 8:30 to 10:30 or 11, and just get some extra work done. It got to the point when I was at school, and I guess this is getting out into the world, but I was bringing 2 computers to school and hiding in my office and making phone calls on my prep, or going to the lower parking lot where my car was and making calls there so no one would find me. And that was the point where I was like, hey, I can't do this anymore. I'm like not living into who I really want to be. So it was really kind of fitting in where I could. Today, my life is as I design it, but I pretty much work out, whether it's at 6 a.m. I teach classes, or from say 9:30 to 10:30 in the daytime. I usually like to get my workout done in the morning. So I get to work out when I want, which is great. And then I'll typically work from about 10 till 3:30 when my kids get off the bus. Here's one of them now. And I'm just doing calls, and I'm on social media, and quite often I need to tell myself to get out of my office too and not just be on my computer. So I will go and work by going to winners and trying things on and talking to people in the change room. And I've done all kinds of things, right? Like, we literally just get out and talk to people, and I make it a focus that everywhere I go, I always talk to someone, people at restaurants, all of that stuff.
That is so awesome. Okay, one more question. What is your favorite book through your journey that you've loved and recommend to other people?
I don't know if I can pick just one.
Okay, your top 5 maybe.
I wrote a list of some of the things that I really, really love and I'm passionate about. So personal growth and development is a huge a huge piece of this. And I think, like I said, I always tell people this is so much more than shakes. It's so much more than that. It's about who you're going to become in this journey and the army of people you're going to have behind you. So I super, super love, of course, David Wood, amplifynetworkmarketing.com, all of those podcasts. I always recommend my teammates take a listen to those and build their belief there. I also am a huge, huge fan of Pam Burnham because she, like me, was a very busy mom, juggling everything. So I love worklesslivemore.com and their podcast on Podomatic. There's hundreds of them there, and Pam and Kevin are amazing trainers. So that's Work Less, Live More on Podomatic. As far as books go, Jack Canfield, I love the Success Principles. That's one of my faves for sure. I also really, really loved John Gordon's The Energy Bus. Mm-hmm. And I just have The Carpenter sitting right here. I haven't started reading it yet, but I can't wait to crack that into that. So John Gordon's awesome, as well as Simon Sinek. I'm a huge fan of him. I love Start With Why and Leaders Eat Last. They're great. And any John Maxwell books as well that you can get your hands on are amazing. So there's a short list. I could go on, I think. Right now I'm actually reading a book called The Power of 100, which is, it's awesome too. I can't remember who authored that, but The Power of 100.
Power of 100. Cool. That's an awesome list. Thank you so much, Stacy.
Yeah.
And before you sign off here, I would love to know one piece or closing advice that you would give to the starters on this call that are new in building their biz.
So I would say, as starters, like I wish I had this when I was young. Athlete. I look back at eating bananas and baby food on my track meet days. That's what my dad had me eating because we were looking for something that was going to be easily digestible. So you've got young athletes, you've got young people who are looking for solutions, who are already buying this stuff. So I would say reach out to everybody that you know and connect with them and just let them know that this is a potential and a family, and not to quit. I know school can get in the way. If you're studying, you're in school, you've got lots of things, but that's no different than me and where I was as a mom and having a job and being a fitness instructor. Like, we're always going to have something that's going to potentially be in our way. The only thing that we really have to manage is what goes on between our ears. And if you can build rock solid belief in this, whether you're a starter or you're 50 or 60 or 70, it doesn't matter. Build your belief, come to events, just be surrounded by your tribe and the people who love you and love them back, and go out there and spread your positive message, and don't let anybody shut you down. Because when people like hate on you and they're like, oh, you're too positive, that should be abnormal that they're unhappy. It should be totally normal that you're happy all the time. So just spread your positivity everywhere you can, and people will be attracted to that.
That was so awesome. Thank you, Stacy. Guys, let's give her a huge round of applause. That was so wonderful and so helpful. I would love to open up the call if anyone has any questions, comments, or takeaways. I'd love for you to take yourself off mute and share.
Stace, can you unshare your screen, hun?
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. Does anyone have any questions for Stacy? This would be an awesome time to ask about Team Isagenix or anything athletic performance-wise. Alex, do you have a question?
Yeah, so I actually do have a question. So I've been working out like morning and night. Does it make a difference if you work to working at night? Is there like a difference? Does it matter? Like, does it affect your sleep? You work out at night? Like,
I mean, I think it's an independent choice. I mean, there are some different theories about cortisol levels and how that's going to be impacted throughout the day. But, you know, you're always going to help manage stress and those types of things based on when you choose. I sometimes teach in the morning. I also teach some evening classes. So I think as far as the nutrient timing, it's still going to be the same. Just dependent on, you know, I would have your shake within half an hour of your workout, whether it's in the morning or it's at night. Just make sure you have that half an hour, 45-minute window, ideally, to get it in you as far as replenishment and replacement. But no, I think you're fine. I mean, you can vary for sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Wicked. Thanks, Stace. Okay, so we are going to wrap up this call here. We are approaching 9 o'clock. I just want to remind you guys that we have so many people in the Start Canada committee, especially, that are all in school right now and writing exams, and that's where they all are today. So I would like to send them just good vibes and love, because I do not miss university at all. And just reminding you guys that this recording will be put on the Start Canada YouTube page. Teeny is awesome, and she always gets them up usually by midnight. And to encourage you guys to like the Start Canada Facebook page. We share tons of stuff in there. Maybe we'll do a list of all the books and good things that were shared on today's call. And then also reminding you guys to get your tickets for Raw, because that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do a little Start Canada get together. It's going to be so awesome to meet a lot of you in real life that I haven't met before. We're also doing a big event in Port Perry on the 29th of December. We're going to do a big Start Canada dream board party, kind of setting intentions for 2017. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then going into next week, we have our one final call, and then we're taking a break for 2 weeks for Christmas and New Year's. So next week we have Aaron Marshall, who's a Canadian Start 1000. We have Cody May, who he owns a company called Create Your Purpose. He's doing some really cool things about identifying your why and kind of living into your true authentic self. So he's going to come share next week. And then we have our committee member, Tiffany Holmesburg, who's from the East Coast, coming to share. I'm really excited about that. So I will see you guys all next Sunday. But before we go, let's take a little screenshot. So a couple of you guys take yourself.
Those of you guys that are on video, do you guys mind popping there? There's Manuel and Alex. Oh. Okay, you guys ready? That's all that's going to show their face. Awesome. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! All right.
I'll see you guys next Sunday.
Stacy, Alex, and Amy, thank you guys so much. You guys rocked it. Totally appreciate that.
Thanks, everybody.
Big love you guys. See you next week.